What's going on, fishy friends? Rich here, Rich's Fishes, and guess what? I got another unboxing video. Fishy, fishy, fishy. Alright guys, so here's what we got. Nice nondescript brown package. I'm sure if your house is anything like mine, you get far too many of these potentially every day. However, it's not very often that I actually get something addressed to Rich's Fishes, so that's always pretty exciting. So I was contacted on Instagram. Make sure you go follow me on Instagram as well as subscribing here on YouTube. Contacted on Instagram by someone from Hygger Aquarium, or at least I sure hope that's how you pronounce it. The company I don't recognize from years past, but I have seen a lot of products from them somewhat recently popping up on the internet. I believe I've been noticing posts made on different Instagram accounts that had some of their products on it. Let's open it up and see what we got. Got the Hygger Pinpoint Titanium Heater with IC temp controller. Now what really caught my eye about this was the temperature controller. We all need to use heaters in our aquariums most likely, or at least most of us do. And unfortunately, many heaters are prone to failure. Many of them get stuck in the on position, boiling a tank, and/or don't work at all, never heating a tank. So something like a temperature controller is a very important thing to use, and essentially what this is a computer with a temperature sensor and an outlet that you plug your heater into. Of course, the temperature controller itself also needs to be plugged in. However, this, by way of this temperature sensor, is going to determine when to turn your heater on or off. So you leave the heater essentially cranked up as high as it can possibly go, and with this, in theory, you're going to set a temperature where you want your aquarium to stay, and this will turn the heater on and off rather than relying on the internal mechanism of the heater to turn on or off itself. So let's see if we can set this thing up. Alright, here we are with power just going to the temperature controller. Right now it says that we are set to Celsius. I don't see how to change that yet. The water temperature, or right now the air temperature as it may be, because the temperature sensor is not in the water. So the water temperature is reading 27.4 degrees Celsius, and the temperature right now is set to 28, meaning that if this was actually in the aquarium and connected to a heater, in theory, the heater would be on right now, because the temperature is only 27.5 degrees while you have it set to 28 degrees Celsius. Let's play around with it a little bit and see how intuitive it is. So I'm going to hold the set button. Alright, so the set temp is blinking. Stopped already. Let me hold it again. Alright, we're blinking. And I pressed it again and it stopped blinking. How do you get to other categories here? So you can set the temp that way. I suppose that light indicates that the heater would be on. I'm not sure. It's got to be a way to change from Celsius to Fahrenheit. I can see the F right there. I'm going to try holding the down button. Oh, holding the up button. There it is. So now we're in Fahrenheit. Temperature is set to 84 degrees. The water temperature right now is 82.8 degrees. So in theory, the heater would be on. Alright guys, so here's a slightly better example of how all this works. Whoa, we're not going to focus, are we? Why not? So what we have plugged in to the temperature controller right now is a lamp. Okay, right now we are set to 84 degrees. The temperature that the temperature probe is reading is 84.6 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and put it into this container here, which has some cold water. Sure, not an instantaneous reaction. There we go, it's starting to move now. And hopefully we'll see a light turn on. Once this indicator light is on. Let's see, a full degree below. There we go, now the light's on. So over here we have some warm water, If I put the temperature sensor in there, should in theory indicate that the water has warmed itself up by way of the heater. It's still going down from having been in the cold water. Looks like there's a bit of a delay between the temperature sensor and the reading that gets distributed to the controller, but that's okay. You don't really need it to be instantaneous. Your heater's going to take quite a long time to warm your aquarium water up to whatever temperature it is that you might have it set for. 83 and 84 degrees is probably a lot higher than most people are keeping their tanks on a normal basis. I do keep some of my discus and ram tanks at roughly that temperature, and there we go. As soon as it reached 84 degrees, shut off the light. So this thing seems to work pretty well. All right, guys, so here it is in its final resting place. Mounted up here next to this 29-gallon tank, which is currently just cycling. I've got some notes written down the side from when I've been adding ammonia for the past couple of days, weeks. How many? A lot. Seems like a pretty nice little titanium heater. This is actually a 200-watt heater, which is overkill for this 29-gallon tank. I definitely don't need a 200-watt heater, but I'm just throwing it in here just because it's a tank that's not heated. Let's see, an unheated tank in my fish room sits at 80 degrees. I actually heat the whole room to about 84 degrees. Tanks down low are a little bit cooler than tanks that sit up high. And so we'll test it out in here and see if we can get up to temperature correctly. I think my only complaint about this unit is that you cannot calibrate it, meaning that if you find that the temperature sensor is potentially reading inaccurately, then you can't change it. On all of the other ones that I tend to use in my fish room, you can do that. For example, this tank is reading 80 degrees right now, according to the temperature sensor on this Hygger unit itself. If I go to verify that with this thermometer, let's see, I'm seeing 78.5. A minute ago, I just saw 79. So it might be a degree to a degree and a half off, which isn't a very big difference, but it would be nice to be able to correct that the way I can on some of my other units. But throughout my fish room, I have used very similar products. Let's see, I got two up here. Those belong to these two 10-gallon tanks. I got one over here, belongs to this 10-gallon tank. I've got one over here, belongs to this 20-gallon tank. I've got one over here that belongs to this 38-gallon tank. Got a few over here. This one belongs to the 30-gallon tank. This one to the empty 40-gallon tank. This one to the 72 bow front. This one to this 20-gallon tank. This one to this 20-gallon tank. This one to this 40-gallon tank. And I think that's it as far as temperature controllers go. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think of this video. If you like these products from Hygger Aquarium, go check them out. I think you could find them on Amazon and probably lots of other places. And let me know what you think of this heat controller, temperature controller. Otherwise, this looks like it should be a pretty nice device. Again, having a temperature controller, I feel like is a very necessary insurance policy if you're going to run a heater on any tank. This will ensure that the only failure that might happen is the heater might not turn on, but it guarantees that you're not going to fry your fish. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Go buy one of these temperature controllers or anything else that Hygger Aquarium is making, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Let me know if you want to see some more videos.